What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with
Kendra Jennison.
And you have some nice clothes on today.
I do.
How do I look?
You look hot and awesome and great.
Oh, no.
That's my favorite way you dress.
Shorty shorts.
Gym shorts, t-shirt, hat.
I was on a meeting. I was on a Zoom with somebody the other day. I don't know who the fuck it was.
It's many people.
Oh, it was Brandon Poulin from Lady Boss. And he's like, is that your normal attire? I'm like, well, sometimes I just don't have a shirt on.
That is actually more accurate.
Like more often I'm just kind of just wearing these clothes and doing whatever I'm doing. But yeah, that's how I roll. So let's talk about why you dress. Well, here's the thing. We are making strides in our life moving forward. This is specifically talking about couples and the relationship that you and I have in this soul level connection. I was journaling and writing and thinking and talking and speaking about all the time. Mm-hmm. Last time we were walking in the field, and I said, hey, here's what we're going to do. All right. And you knew I was going to talk about this. That's probably why you dressed up like this. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get some, a red dress and some clothes, which, by the way, I was thinking about, it doesn't have to be a red. That was just Kevin and my idea when we're free flowing. It wasn't about the fucking dress or whatever. I'm not trying to dress you, but we're going to do this, and we're going to get these shots on this yacht. We're going to go on our boat. We're going to go on some date nights. We're going to actually have to plan to make this video, this thing that we're trying to create. And we're going to have to change a couple of the ways we look, because we're trying to show who we are. And it pissed you off.
It did.
It didn't, not at me, but it pissed you off.
As we're walking, you're explaining exactly how we're going to do the new smaller steps that we need to start taking to elevate our lives, because this is something that we talk about often, and we just always find ourselves never doing it, right? And so you're like, nope, this is like the line in the sand, Kendra. We're doing this, and you're like, well, and usually I'm just like a motor mouth when we're talking in the field, and you're like, well, you're really quiet. What's going on? What do you have to say about this? And I was like, nothing. I said, I think and you're like, nope, tell me. And so,
yeah, because I can totally tell what is wrong.
And here's the thing.
Not what is wrong, but something is wrong.
I told you, I said, nope, I'm quiet. I agree with everything that you were saying. And I really have nothing to add to this statement of, yes, we need to start becoming who we see ourselves being in the future. Like, that is how it works. We have to start taking those. You cannot keep being who you are and elevate. Like, it just doesn't work that way, right?
Sure.
Especially not for us. Even if we tried, like something's got to change, because nothing's changing, right? And so I told you, I said I was quiet there for a good amount of bit, because my first initial reaction was I got really offended, like internally. And I heard what you were saying. I knew exactly what you were saying, and I agreed with it in my head. However, you like speaking it out loud. I was thinking in my head, I was like, okay, he wants me to be completely different, wants me to dress different. And I'm telling myself, this is a story I'm telling myself in my head, but I'm working through it while I'm walking with you and being very quiet, right? And I'm telling myself, Kendra, you're getting really offended. You tell yourself this all the time, that you need to start elevating your life. You need to start doing it. So why are you getting offended when he's saying it out loud? It's just the truth. So I'm working through this, right? And I just came to the ultimate. I was like, you're right. Like, I can't be offended you saying something out loud, calling me on my bullshit, essentially, like internal bullshit, as I'm like, have this inner dialogue with myself, because it's the truth. You're speaking the truth. I had no reason to get offended, because I know what you meant, and I know what needs to happen, and I know it needs to be done, and I know it needs to be done for myself. It's just what it boils down to for me is it was a comfort thing, right? I am so comfortable, and just, it's so easy to get so complacent in my little, you're a mom, you're dressed in gym clothes, and this is who you are. Like, how dare you ever try to be anything other than that? And that's not right either, right? Because I tell you all the time, I will do, and I will be, and I will act, and I will help. You
were talking out of both sides of your mouth without even realizing, like, that's the term for that, right? You're saying you want it on one hand, but not willing to, you're willing, but you were like unwilling to accept that, oh shit, he's actually asking this of me.
So as soon as you said it out loud, I immediately wanted to go to like some resistance. Defensive. I was totally defensive. Not to show you, but inside. And that's why I said, like, you asked me why I was so quiet. I was literally, in that short amount of time that I was so quiet, this was everything that was going inside of my head. It was a lot.
So I wrote this the other day about you, and it's actually, or today, about it. So just, there's more to it, but I'm just going to read this quick part. I don't know. I wasn't going to read it to you.
But now you are.
And now I am.
Screw it.
Well, because when I was sitting there, I felt a different sort of way because of the way you were thinking last night and then the way you're feeling. And because I literally am at this place where I let go of every fucking story.
Yep.
Ryan walked in, he said, how's things going? Right? At the comeback today. Shit is falling apart.
Yep.
Yet it's falling together at the same time.
Yeah.
There's not one thing that I can do. There's been this level of control that I'm after in my life, which is realizing that I'm in control of nothing. And when I let go of control of everything, I am finding myself in control of everything. Because something is working miraculously through me. Call it a miracle, call it God, call it chance. There's no fear. And I want everybody to experience this. One of my outcomes in my stack today was like, yo, I'm willing to go to a place that people won't go, to the brink of this prison and this sentence inside of my mind and actually free myself. But this was my story. I want God to know I love Kendra, but I also know that I'm not experiencing the love with her the way that I desire. Comparatively speaking, we have something that nobody has. I know that. I see that. I love that. But you're bringing me to her to me. At Clear Vita, in a way, we'll be able to achieve something that I saw in my original journey. She is a critical piece to my power, to my energy, to my being. I used to wonder as a child where my love is, the woman I'm supposed to be with is, but not in any way that a young boy thinks or desires. It was in a piece of sadness, like she was lost and I couldn't find her. I've been seeking her soul since I was born. My theory is that we get separated each other's life and find each other again. I saw when she was washing my hair as a Japanese warrior. That's as far back as I could see, though. I believe this, Father. It is nothing like anything the Bible says, nothing like anything I've heard, yet I do not care because I have her. We go to Clara Vita August 2nd through 5th. You've told me to be patient, to be calm, but I'm having a hard time doing this. I'm not sure if this is for me, for her, for us, and it doesn't matter. I yearn for the moments that our soul will immediately connect, not our flesh. I saw her writing the other day, conversations with God. I didn't ask. I don't know if it's a song, a feeling. I do not care. The actual fact of her writing those 3 letters was the biggest breakthrough of my life, and I didn't even tell her. I will share this stack with her because that's what I feel to do. Father, I'm so proud of myself for being patient in ways with Kendra that she doesn't even know. Yes. Oh, wait. I will not share it with her. There is no reason to put pressure on her. Let go of your own plans, Mark. What do you hear when I say that to you? And then I'm trying to tell you to dress a certain way. I'm not trying to tell you to dress a certain way, but like the immediate stories. Like I guarantee you there's men that are wishing they could say that stuff.
Yep.
Right? Because they don't think that way. They're scared of things. They're unwilling to actually be vulnerable.
Yep. Actually,
they're just unwilling to love. But we were walking a field last night and I could sense, it wasn't what you said, it was what I felt. Mm-hmm. It was like a dark cloud of just rage came on you. Like I could feel it whoosh.
That's how I felt. Yeah.
Like it just whoosh. And I never felt it before, which tells me when I take a step back and I look at where I'm at, letting go of everything in my life right now to have it all and to be free and all these crazy things that are going on, something's attacking us.
Sure.
Kevin, we're like our ads right now, we're like $7,000-8,000 into this past 2 days. And we're like 2 or 3 leads. It's fucking ridiculous. Right? Like, but we came off of our best ever. And the only thing that has changed is I've been choosing me and choosing you and choosing us. And all of a sudden the world gets hard.
Sure.
But I want to go down. Some of these conversations I'm having are very high level or very with myself, I guess, or with other people or the way that I speak about them. They're unwilling to comprehend that it even exists because they can't see it in front of them. Last night, I was laying out a vision for you and it affected you. Mm-hmm. And this goes back to what I was saying. There's 2 ways to fuck me up: my money and my family. Yep. I'm fighting a spiritual war all day, every day. And it was trying to get to you last night.
Sure. I believe that in a lot of ways to be true, and kind of rewinding back to the beginning of this podcast is, I know for a fact that you felt like you had mentioned, like my defensiveness, my immediate, like, this motherfucker wants me.
It wasn't even that.
No. I know this is the stories that I'm telling myself in my brain. That's why I was saying rewind back to the beginning of this when we're talking about the stories that we like have sold ourselves for so long. And for a very long time, I have always in a way prided myself on being a very wholesome, you're not going to box me in, I can be whoever, whatever I want to be. And I prided myself on that. However, and you ask anybody, I'm like, no, I want to do and learn everything. I will never place myself in any box, right? However, what's so funny is you're bringing this up to me and we're talking about breaking free. And immediately what I wanted to retreat back to was putting myself in a box of like, no, how dare you think, Kendra, that you can start dressing this way or acting this way? Like, this is who you are, right? And so the anger inside of me was like, it's like this internal battle of like wanting to grow and wanting to explore and become who I know I can be, which is uncharted territory because I've never been there yet. And it's scary for me because I know this Kendra right here is fucking awesome. She's great. She's comfortable in this life. She can, you know? And so it's not anger towards you by any means. It's not anger towards you. It's not anger.
I didn't take it as anger towards me.
No. It's not anger towards the universe. It's not anger towards anything except for myself in that brief moment for allowing myself to think so small when I've had conversation, when I've journaled, when I've wrote down, like, you want everything out of life. Everything. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And for having that conversation, you just saying it out loud, like I said, immediately I wanted to retract and put myself in this box and be like, well, that's not who I am. Well, that's not true. I've never been there yet. Of course it can be who I am. I can be and do whatever the fuck I want to do. I never have to box myself in. So like I said, I think it was a very internal dialogue that I'm sitting there having with myself as we're walking the field and I'm contemplating and I tell myself, I'm like, no, Kendra, you can be this awesome chick right here. And then you can be this and you can be this. But right now it's scary to you because you have never been here yet. And not to mention, when I was younger, for whatever reason, and I grew up, I've said it 1,000 times, I had the best freaking childhood. Mm-hmm. I grew up with money. I was always well taken care of. I never had to worry about food. I never had to worry about not having clothes or a roof over my head. My childhood was awesome, and I'm forever grateful that I don't ever have to recover from a childhood. But there's definite stories in there that I've been told my entire life that I think I still hold on to because, I don't know, but I'm conscious of them. For whatever reason, I hold on to them. I'm becoming more conscious of them. So when they seep into my brain, I'm like, no. You're not going to tell yourself that story anymore. This is what you're telling yourself. And for a really long time, it was, no, Kendra, you don't need that. You have to wait until you get here to have that. Like, how dare you start thinking that you can dress like this right now? No. You have to get here for that. And I think that somewhere my mom was always, and not ever in a negative way, purposely, we would go shopping or we would go here. She'd be like, Kendra, you're too young. You don't need that. Or what do you want that for?
You know, I want to pause you right there. And this might hurt your feelings. Mm-hmm. But you do that to Jade.
I do it to Jade. I know.
She actually came up to me. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know, she didn't come up to me. We do all these drives together and do our little bit together. I took her shopping.
Yep.
That's what it was. I took her shopping. She's like, I love going with you, Dad. And I'm like, why? You don't try to change me or change what I like. Mom's always trying to put her opinion on it. I'm like, well, she's your mom and she's a girl. I don't really know what the fuck. As long as your butt's not hanging out and your belly's not hanging out, I'm good with it, right? So
no, it's so true. And I would never be mad at that because I know.
I say, it's your body. You got to wear it. But there's a certain couple things that I won't.
She's still a 10-year-old girl. Yeah. So yeah, but it's true. And I don't take offense to that because I know that to be true.
But that's how you break the pattern.
Mm-hmm. And I have to be conscious of it. And it's hard because I do get in such, I don't want to blame it on anything because I agree that I need to change it and I need to be more conscious of it. But I just think in my little mom brain, I'm just like, oh, no, you're still such a little girl. Like, let's be a little girl. How about these little, and she's like, Mom, like, I don't want to wear that. And I'm just like, yeah, but Jade, instead of just being like, okay, you know what? You look awesome in that.
I took her to the adult store,
she looks so freaking cute in it. Right. She does. Yeah.
I don't even know if it fits her, but
either way, it's once again.
I don't care what she wears because it's about the spending the time. But there's something that when you were talking that I think would be important for the listeners to actually hear, which is at every level, there's this thing that I do, this way that I talk to myself, which is I allow myself to introduce myself to myself. Mm-hmm. If I don't make the introduction to myself, I will never accept that self of who I am. And I've done this over and over and over and over. I'm like a chameleon, or not even a chameleon. I'm like a snake. Some people might call me a snake oil salesman in my comments that these poor guys got to read. But the reality is we know what I put into this world. Like, we know who I am. Yep. But I have shed my skin over and over and over as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a leader. I mean, every level requires me to just die and be reinvented. So I think that's something that you could take, or that other people out there listening, like, allow myself to introduce myself to myself.
It's so easy for me to, I feel like in a like spiritual or mental growth, it's so much easier for me to, as you said, like shed the skin. I'm growing, shed it again, because that's no longer who I am. That's no longer how I think. Where I struggle for whatever reason, and I'm sure if I, meditated or went back far enough, I would find it was probably some deep-seated childhood stuff or stories that I've been telling myself. But for whatever reason, when it comes to my physical being and my physical appearance, having this stage of growth, which most people are like fucking pumped about, right? They're like, oh yeah, I got to a certain spot in life. I can start dressing better. I can start driving better cars. I've sold myself on a story for so long that that's not authentic to who I am, that I automatically push it away. I'm like, what the fuck you want to drive a Lamborghini for, Kendra? That's not who you are. You want to drive this. Or why are you shopping on Dior right now? That's not who you are. You wear this. And I think it just boils down to like a really authentic
I have a question
thing for me. Yeah.
Who do you compare yourself to? So that you don't, I don't want to just respond with an answer to put on spot. Like
I was going to say, I don't even know.
Like,
I'd have to,
because you're 31, going to be 32 years old, right? We'll just fucking put it out there. When we met, I had just clawed back from being a fucking scum fuck. Right. And I've been successful over and over and over, but I'd been dying and reborn. And when I met you, I had 125,000 positive to my name. That was it. After I crawled back being 7 figures in debt, like I paid every fucking thing back, fixed every fucking thing, and only had $125,000. And now we have a net worth of well into multiple 8 figures. That is not, I texted you this morning, like this empire that we've been able to create at such a fast pace.
yes,
I've taken you from literally
a smoke-filled apartment and
not
window
even the
washing.
smoke photo. Like, yeah, those are the things that where you're at. But I took you from a girl who was young and scared,
Very.
but determined, who didn't really know who she was, who was facing a giant a giant mountain, which is to raise 2 girls on her own with no offense, but like a minimum wage style. I don't know if it's minimum wage, but like
It was definitely close.
close to minimum wage job.
Yep.
In the mindset that it have, there was no time for you to actually think about you. You did a great job, like working out and that shit, right? That was like that was your thing there, but there was no time for you to even like allow yourself to become who you were.
Yeah.
And I've taken you now to what you are now. And I never see any like strings holding you back. So either you hold on to these stories really, really well, right? But I do know last night was the first time that I felt that something was trying to hold you back.
Yeah.
And it was, so part of the thing is like, here we are, we're launching a new, and if at this point, Kevin wants me to put in some plugs for everything we do. If you're interested in what we do here, the Soul Level Couples Connection, inside, outside, we have some spots available for men and women to come in and work with us, because we are fucking real and raw and vulnerable in what we do. So if you're interested in coaching, let us know. But we are creating in the inner program, like I'm looking at this, I'm like, this opportunity is being presented in front of us right now. Like I wake these fuckers up. Like I wake all these men up. Thousands and thousands and thousands of warriors are being woken up every day by the message of liberation of IAMACOMEBACK. They're finding themselves not weak. They're finding themselves not diseased. They're finding themselves powerful. They're finding themselves for the first time pursuing a life above and beyond being controlled by what they think is their biggest problem, which is a drink, but it's not. It's some fucking story that they're telling themselves, attached to evilness and darkness. And then the real thing is they need to become connected with their wife. The next problem they have is they do not know how to have a fiery, red hot marriage. I was walking last night and I said, look, we figured some shit out. We can be alone together for as long as we want without fighting and getting along and never getting sick of each other.
Yep.
Most people can't do that.
Yeah.
But then I asked you, I said, do you really want what you say you want? Like, I'm going, which you know, like there is no slowing me down. I'm going to go. Are you sure you want to be on this ride? Not that I want to divorce you or leave you behind, but are you absolutely crystal fucking clear and sure? Because here I am trying to show our marriage. Yeah, we got this shit down, but we're hiding. And I live by this hat, right?
Yep.
But I've had to be patient with you at the same time to get you to a spot where you could actually become you. And I know right now, like when we get the next month, August is your month.
I'm very excited.
It's fucking your month. Like lights out. Claire Vita, I don't know how many days we're going to Costa Rica, our anniversary, Costa Rica, the rest of the shit. I mean, there's like 12 days in this month for you. Cause I mean, I don't give a shit about, I should say I do give a shit, but like I'm taking you surfing because I know you want to go surfing in Costa Rica. I'll be okay here working with everything.
I know. Yeah.
Like with everything going on right now, I'd be okay here working. So when I told you last night, I said, are you sure you want to fire? I'm going to put this advertisement together. These guys are going to make a video. Kevin's going to drop it. We're going to make some shit happen. Are you sure you really want a fiery red hot marriage? Would you even classify us as having a fiery red hot marriage? Just because we have great sex, just because we love each other? Is this all you can do? What's your answer?
I said, I believe that we have a fiery red hot marriage. I know that to be true. And I told you that I want more. I want the growth. And I believe I didn't even expand on that. I was just like, I want it.
You didn't need to expand because look at the clothes you have on and the way you're sitting up right now today. You made a personal appointment to go take care of yourself. You're scanning some things that you wanted to do, change your clothes. I showed up like a fucking slump. I don't know if that's a good word,
here's the biggest thing is I put so much trust and faith into you leading us as a family that even when, as in last night when we're walking and you tell me these things and my first reaction is to get defensive, and I worked through it like I said, and I didn't, spew any negativity or any like F-bombs because I was like, okay, you've trusted him so far in every single thing and your life has grown to be fucking awesome. Let's just take a second here, Kendra, and think all this out. And so like I said, doing that in then a very short amount of time as we're walking because, we just do our lives. But
you processed it very quick. I was actually returning the farthest corner from here, and I was like, dang, she actually processed that really quick.
I do. I'm very, like I said, intuitive. I have great capabilities on looking at things from point of view. But where I'm going with it is I have trusted you in every single thing that we've done so far. So instead of, and you're telling me like, this is what we have to do, babe. Like, do you want it or not? And I do. And I know for a fact that because I'm so, like the resistance is there for it, that I absolutely have to do it. Like in any freaking self-development, it doesn't matter what I've seen or what I've read. It's like, if you're fucking scared or there's resistance in any way, you absolutely have to do it. And so, like I said, I've trusted you this far, all of your words, all of your guidance, everything that you've ever taught me. I contemplated and I was like, okay, yes, I do want this. I'm going to be a little scared and there's going to be days where, I might have a little bit of pushback on certain things or I might try to retreat to a safer zone. But ultimately, I know that I want it and I'm going to do it. And I trust you. And and I'm going to come around and not to like downplay or downsize the whole thing for the listeners. All I was doing was asking her to go on a date. Literally, is what it boiled down to. That's all it was, right? And I was waiting to say this. All I was asking you to go on a date and just to dress up a certain way because we're going to use it for some marketing material, but it's actually the life you tell me you want every day. So I presented with you an opportunity to go on a date, to give you what you wanted, to do what we're doing. And where it went to was, I'm doing it for the internet, which isn't even the real story. The story is exactly. Kendra doesn't deserve it. Yep. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And I know, like I told you, I'm conscious of this. So I'm rewriting my own stories in my head daily, especially when these things present themselves, because I know my life can be whatever I tell myself it's going to be. And part of the thing too, like my whole plan of attack, like that we're living, is making sure that you could do this on. You might not be able to do I'm a comeback, but to be able to give you, I'm a comeback. So maybe you could, right? Yeah. But you could be like with the people we have, with the money. If I were to die, there needs to be a person or somebody, like whether it goes I'm a comeback women, whether it's creating something with these guys, like you need to have a skill set. Yep.
You're not. What are you gonna? If I die, you're gonna live off the money I leave. I mean, yes, it'll be there, and you guys will be fine. But like, you'll be bored as fuck. And, but I got claws in there. No fucking dude can have my money. So if you ever try to go get some other dude, I'll fucking kill you.
Nope, you're it for me. Soul level connection.
Just letting you know that. Just letting the listeners know that too. Listen. So I share all this stuff with these people today, and I wanted to share with you because sometimes I think you put a pressure on yourself to have it all together.
Oh, I do. I absolutely do.
And I would say that 99% of the time you have it together, but you don't have to have it all together all the time, especially when you're trying to learn. Yeah. The very reason that makes me me and why people listen to me is because I fuck up all the time in real time. And I expose it. Mm-hmm. I tell them where I fuck up, and I pivot, and I do something about it.
Right.
That's my greatest strength.
For sure. I couldn't agree more. You know, I agree with that. For me, I do love to appear to have it all together, and I don't all the time. That would be just silly. I don't know anybody.
We could stop right there and we could have a conversation about that. And that's because there's a story you're telling yourself because of the way that your mom tries to hold her life. I know these things, I never say them, but there's because Lonnie tries to appear like she has everything together all the time, and so much pressure on herself to have the perfect lawn, have the perfect shrubs, the house clean, meticulous, everything like
and
measured.
Everything is meticulous.
Like, and everything is meticulous. She puts all this pressure on herself, so you feel like this is how you need to do it. But inside, she's got many things that she probably needs to work on. And I love her.
And I agree with that. And I'm conscious of that. I know that. But at the same time, I like that about myself. I like comparing the way that I speak or the way that I'm learning to you. Like, why in my brain, I'm like, why wouldn't I try to be or compare myself to the best of the best? And so I do hold myself to a little bit of a higher standard. And sometimes it's exhausting. And sometimes, as you know, like you'll find me and I'm just like tucked away in the room and I'm just like, I just need like, whew. But I like that about myself. I don't know if I'll ever change that. And I'm not saying that I would never fuck up or that I don't get exhausted or that, of course I do. I'm a human.
What I recognize in taking a step back. So I share a lot of things with you, and I'll just share this one piece with you right now. I've been able to create this ability to observe me, which allows me to then observe you. So I talked about this on one of the calls yesterday. Constant chatter in my mind. Always. You're not good enough, Mark. You're going to fail. Mm-hmm. You're fucking disgusting. Like whatever these things, just constant. Sometimes it gives me good. Like there's no rhyme or reason. It'll be, like there's a great day. The sun's beautiful. Like it just never shuts the fuck up. Mm-hmm. There's that voice going on. There's me that is talking to you right now that says, I love you. You're sexy, all this shit. Right. But at the same time, the chatter's going on. Then there's this other me that is able to look at both of those people. So I have this picture of like me personally, my chatter having this conversation. I'm taking this third person objective view, and then there's this soul level, like God feeling that's kind of guiding all of these things. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to open up these past few months through the tool specifically called stacking that Garrett gave me that is now my own. I'm really fucking good at, which is where that come from. And I did in a really quick time. Yeah, he told me that the other day. He's like, dude, you fucking crushed it. But I get to this place where I'm now not only able to just observe, I can't see what's going on inside your head, but I can see what's going on around you. I can see what's going on around Ryan. I can tell he's tired over there right now. It's because he's yawning, but that's nothing. But I can see what's going on. I can pay attention to it. I can feel it. Mm-hmm. And what I recognize and see is not just my wife, but a soul and a woman who's coming into her essence. Yep. Who is learning. Mm-hmm. Majority of the learning you do is through my failure and through me learning and talking.
Yes,
right?
It is.
But your favorite reading is dark romance, smut novels,
that's exactly right?
Right? Like those are what you really like to do. Your kinky side over there. You like to read that shit, and that's what you enjoy doing. I read all the self-development. I throw it in on you, and I push it on you, and I push you and push you. I've been your mentor, your coach, your lover, your best friend, like all these things, your confidant. Yes, but what I'm watching now is you question you instead of me questioning you.
Yep. And you taught me that. Just so you know.
And it's coming, right? But I didn't push you.
Nope.
That's why I'm saying in my stack over here, like patience. I've been patient in ways that you don't even know. Mm-hmm. Patient ways I didn't even know that I was able to be patient of. And now we sit here this week, and I've been drawn back to the other part of that stack that I didn't share was not about you, but it was about how I'm drawn back to the very bench. What is today, guys?
The 20th.
The 20th. 8 years ago in 6 days will be 8 years. I sat on this very bench. I've been there twice. Once talking to Leo about time and dimensions, which are in every fucking journey that I do. Why did I end up there? I don't know. And then today, out of all places, the most clear, precise stack on letting go at this bench.
Yep.
And what I was doing last night,
I believe we sat there too when you asked me to marry you.
we were not at that one. I don't think we're at that one. I think we're in the park. Actually, we might have sat at that. I asked you on the pier though, not
either way.
Yeah. So I think we did actually. So anyways, I'm drawn to that area, specifically that bench, with everything on my mind of letting go as the world's crumbling around me, but I'm watching it prepare you. By me future casting where we're going.
Yep.
So here we sit 5 years later, right? Well, it would be 2019. So 2022, 2024, but 5 years later, when I wrote the journal in the notebook that showed you're a part of it, and now I'm sharing my stack with you, only we're going to another level.
Yep.
I think we've been going to levels every month, but I don't think we have been. I don't think we can accelerate that level. I think there's a certain amount of time that we stay at each specific level that we're at. I think now we're entering a season that's going to require both of us to be somebody we don't even know yet.
I agree with that.
That's the type of conversation that I think men should have with their. Well, actually, how could a fucking man have that conversation with his wife if he can't have it with himself? Right?
It's 100% true. Yeah.
So it's not so much what we're saying that I want these listeners or the men that are in my group to hear. It's like, how do I actually talk to me so I could talk to you, so you could talk to us, so we could be who we are.
Yep.
So you're dressed up today.
I'm dressed up today. I feel very good. I did it my way. I feel beautiful about it. I feel good about it.
Are you going to go run with that outfit on?
I am not going to run with these shoes on.
So just to do a recap, I don't have anything else that I want to add. I felt like that was a really nice, not nice is a fucking lame ass word, but like it was a nice, open, deep conversation. And I think the most important thing is allow myself to introduce myself to myself. And I think that's something you could do and the listeners should do as well, man or woman. Anything you want to add before we roll?
Nope. I love that.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. We'll see you next week.
See you.